don't mind the sweater. I don't actually play the Queen's Gambit. I think the sweater's cute though. Hi everybody, today I'm going to be going over my round 2 game from the Baltimore Open. This was my first ever classical tournament and I was playing black, and this was a morning game, 110 minutes plus 30-second bonus. I was playing black in the under 1600 section, so let's just get into it. I was very excited to kind of test out my repertoire. I was playing a little kid. Surprise, shocker, lots of kids in this tournament. It's ridiculous. And so he played e4, I played d6, the Pirc. So I played the Pirc, and I have a love or hate relationship with the Pirc. It is a very, okay, let me give you the breakdown about the Pirc. It is a very complicated opening, and I'm an intermediate player, and so I don't know all the theory, but I get some really fun positions, and a lot of people don't know how to play against the Pirc as white. However, there's a lot of ways that you can play it and just stabilize, so I don't know why I play this, but it's kind of fun, and I don't want to switch my openings. Okay, so here we go. So he played d4, taking the center, and I played knight f6. So I go back and forth between playing g6 or knight f6 first, because when I play knight f6, sometimes I get the Trompowsky, and that's just really annoying because I don't want to deal with the Trompowsky. So I just have been playing a lot of the times g6 now to avoid that, and then playing knight f6, because now if they play bishop g5, I can just play bishop g7 and defend, and it's fine. I don't have to screw up my pawn structure if they take the knight. I played knight f6. He played knight c3, just, developing. This is very normal stuff. I played g6, all normal things. Now here's where white gets to decide what they want to do in this setup. There's so many different things that you can play in the Pirc, or against the Pirc. You can play the Austrian, you can play the classical with like ideas of here and then castling, or you can play the 150 attack, which is what my opponent played. Oh, you can also play this is called the Italian Pirc. I don't think it actually has a name. This is just what a lot of study books will call this. I actually really love playing against this. But he played the 150 attack. And so I was actually very happy to see this because I had prep ready to go. And I was like, yo, I'm going to get to play my new prep. I actually only play this in blitz games, so we'll see how this goes in a tournament game. But so I played c6. And the idea behind c6 is I have plans of playing b5, queen a5, and then bringing my knight over this way, and then maybe trading it off, and then opening up the b file once the pawn takes back. If this bishop takes, oh, there's a lot of arrows. Sorry, guys. There's just ideas of bringing everything opening up on the queen side, because white in this position wants to attack me on the king side. They want to play f3, and then they want to launch an attack this way. But it's not going to work because I'm not going to have a king on this side. I am not going to castle this way. I'm not going to castle on the king side. I'm going to try and castle on the queen side, or just move my king over that way. So all of their plans kind of get ruined. And so here I played c6. It's a very flexible move. And then he played f3, which is standard, just protecting the pawns in the center. I played b5. I went back and forth between playing b5 or playing the immediate queen a5. But the reason I didn't play the immediate queen a5 is because once he plays queen d2, lining up his bishop and queen on the same diagonal, I would play say b5, and then say he castles, I bring my knight. He would say move his king. This is the best move. And now I can play h5 to try and stop his attack that's coming with g4. And then he can just bring his knight, and it's just kind of really annoying for me because I can never get this push in, because once the knight just moves, it's not like I can actually win this pawn because the king is protecting it, which is one of the main ideas. And so maybe it would have been fine if I just brought my rook this way, but I didn't really know how to go about this. So instead I played b5 first. And so I played b5, and then he played a3, and I was like, damn, that's really annoying actually. Now there is no queen a5, because once I take, he can just take back, and I can't take the rook because the queen still defends. So I would just have to take this way, and then I guess I could put pressure here, and it would be maybe okay. But I was upset to see 8-3, and I was definitely caught off guard. I have never seen this in a blitz game or a rapid game, so it was just new to me. So instead, here I played knight bd7, and my idea is to be able to bring this knight over here, trade it off, open this b file, and kill him. So he played queen d2, very normal stuff. White wants to exchange their dark square bishop and castle queenside. Good luck. I am not castling kingside, so it does not matter to me if you bring this bishop over here. That's totally fine. We can actually just trade, and you can bring your queen over here because I am not putting my king that way. It literally doesn't matter to me. And so I played queen a5, which is great. And then I'm basically putting pressure on the knight. This was my first time playing this setup in a tournament game, so I was not sure if this plan was actually going to work. But it's kind of like I was already committed. Queen a5 is the normal move. I just got to go for it. So he castled queenside. I played knight b6, which is good. I had ideas of going to c4. I also thought about playing the immediate b4, but I wasn't sure how this was going to work with like lining up on this file. Once like the rook comes, I wasn't sure how this was actually going to work, and I didn't like this because the knight just blocks, and it's like, okay, what am I doing over here? And like I can play like rook b8 and maybe try and win this pawn, but I wasn't sure if it actually worked, and I didn't really want to put my queen in this like kind of a bind in this corner. And so instead I played knight b6. So here he now played e5, and I was like, all right, that's kind of weird. And so in this position, I was like, there's no way I'm taking that pawn, because if I take this pawn, everything goes to hell. Like, and this is terrifying. I don't want to deal with this. No, thank you. I'm good. And so I played instead, yeah, like I can go here maybe, and then like we can trade off this way, but I don't like this. I definitely did not want to go for this. Instead, in this position, I just played knight d5, which is the best move, and now he takes, and I am forced to take the queen because my queen is hanging. I cannot take this knight because my queen just hangs, so I am forced to take the queen. And then he took back with the bishop, and during the game, I thought, that's probably a mistake, but turns out this is a genius move, because if he takes with the rook, which I thought was better, just to like maybe in the future be able to like bring this out and then like maybe to double up. And so when I saw he took with the bishop, I was like, what? But it's actually a great move, because if he takes with the rook, I can then play takes back, and now this bishop is like lost. Like where is he gonna go? So like the only square he can go to is here. So now if he goes here, I can just push him back, and it's just like he turns into a horrible bishop. And so I knew that like I can then play like bishop e6, he can play like bishop d3, and then I can play bishop g7, and I'm just positionally better because this bishop sucks. And so I didn't realize that, though. I was like, why is he taking back with the bishop? Yeah, it's actually pretty good. So I took the knight back so that we're now back to normal. We have all the pieces. Material advantage is nothing. We are even. So then he played e takes d6. I played e takes d6, and he checked me. And here I played bishop e6, which is good. I'm basically developing a piece, and I'm also protecting that knight. And now here he played c4. I saw this. He can play c4, but it literally doesn't matter because my my knight is not gone. Like everything's fine. And so I took, and then he took back with the bishop. So here in this position, I need to play a really critical move, and I spent not enough time here. I should have spent way more time, and I think I had used like 10 minutes of my clock. Like we were both playing very fast. I learned my lesson here to not play as fast as kids play. I was sucked into the zone of, oh, they're playing fast, I need to play fast. No, slow down, don't listen to them, just kind of zone out your opponent. My opponent was also like playing with the pieces that we had traded. Like he was like knocking them together and like just being a little nuisance, and I was like, you're so annoying. But so here I need to play king d7. This is critical, because now if he takes, I can just take back and these pawns aren't doubled. But instead, I also thought, okay, I can't play. I thought for a second, like I was going through like, oh, maybe I can play knight c7, but that's actually a mistake because he can just attack me. And now I'm screwed because say like, oh, I want to defend. He can just take, and then he's going to win a pawn. Can't play knight c6 to move all that stuff. So I needed to play king d7. I didn't do that. I played bishop g7. I was like, ooh, pawn. Maybe I can win this pawn. Blah. So now he takes, and I cannot take back because I'm pinned. And so I have to take back this way, which sucks because now my pawns are doubled. And if I would have taken like 5 minutes, I would have seen this. But I didn't. And I was like, ooh, free pawn. Yay. Like I got sucked in by material. And now I have double pawns because of that, because I was so drawn into trying to win this pawn. And so here he played bishop c3, defending his pawn. I played my rook over, trying to have ideas of bringing my rook this way and then being able to win this pawn with like the bishop taking. And so here I also thought like, okay, maybe I can play king d7 here. He would move over. I would move this way. He would develop. I would bring my bishop out. And then if he attacks, I kind of just go back and I try and win this knight. And then if he plays here to try and win my bishop, I can just move back and everything's fine. I played rook c8. And then he played king d1, and he offered me a draw. And I was like, what? And he was like, draw? And I was like, no. I actually was kind of mean about it. I feel bad. But I was like, you're offering me a draw on move 18? Like, no. And so I instead I play king d7, and he plays knight e2, offers me a draw again. And I was like, dude, like, no. Like, I don't want a freaking draw. And so I said no. And then I played rook he8, trying to just add more pressure. He played knight f4 and offers me a draw again. And I was like, no, I don't want to draw. And then I played rook c4, trying to win this pawn. And he just goes back. And I was like, oh my God. And he offered me a draw again. And he starts convincing me. He's like, yeah, he starts talking to me, which I don't think you're allowed to do this during the game. But this is like also goes to my inexperience of playing like tournaments over the board. Because I was like, why is this kid talking to me? Like, is this allowed? Like, but I just was like letting this go down. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, like material is even, like, you know, there's no advantage. And this kid is like rated like 1,000. So, and I'm like 1,400. So I probably shouldn't be listening to what he's saying, because I am the higher rated player. But I was just like getting like convinced. I was like, you're right. Like, it is like, you know, 2 bishops versus bishop at knight. Like, these doubled pawns are really ugly on the d file, and he has an isolated pawn on the d file, and I just couldn't find a way to break through. And so I took a draw here, like a freaking idiot. And so I also was very upset from the night before, because I had just taken like a 3.5-hour draw the night before, and I was like, damn, I have a game later today. Like, watch this end up being a draw, and I spend another like 3 hours on this, and I use all my energy. So I was just like, you know what? We'll just take the draw and we'll move on. So I took the draw here. I don't think I should have, because technically this is like minus 0.5 for black. So there's just like a slight advantage in this position. And the only time that this would have been advantageous for myself was here. This was the moment where it was like minus 1.5 or something like that. Like, this was the moment where I would have been winning the game if I just would have played king d7, because there's just no way of now doubling these pawns, and it would have been a lot better for me. And so that didn't happen though, and I accepted the draw. We went over the game after, and we were trying to kind of figure out like what would have happened. We went over like this type of line where I just start pushing on the king side, and he starts trying to defend. I bring my pieces. I don't want to trade that. I go back. He goes back. And we just try and break through. The reason he can't take this is because I'm just going to win it back. But so he would just like bring his king. I would try and create some problems, double up. And there's just really no way of breaking through. Like, I could maybe play this, and then like he cannot actually play this, because then I play this, and it's just really bad for white. Because like, say he goes like, okay, he can go to like king e1. I can then play rook c1 and just win his rook. So he can't do that. If he wants to go to like, say, king d3, he can't do this either because of bishop f5. And then he's just going to lose his rook, which is great for me. And so he's not allowed to take that pawn because of that. So instead of taking that pawn, he would say like move his king. And now I would just push this pawn and forever stop this push. And so say he just moves his king, I move my king. He's just trying to open his rook up and stop being passive. I bring my rook to a better rank. He doubles up his rooks. I move my king, double up my rooks now. He's just waiting around because I have the slight advantage, and there's just really no way of breaking through. Like, we're just gonna shuffle pieces back and forth, and there's no way of breaking through. And here I didn't see any of this. Like, let's be real. I only looked at this after the game. But the reason that I took the draw was because I was like, I don't see any way of breaking through. And going through all the moves, if with perfect play, there really is no way of breaking through. But I think I should have just like forced my opponent to show me that they are capable of keeping the draw, because he could have messed up. Like, he is lower rated than me, and he needs to prove to me that that it's a draw. But I took the draw, and it was kind of a weenie draw, I'll admit. It was pretty sad. But I did get to rest for like 4 hours for my next game, which was really good. So I had a break in between my rounds where I just got to rest. I got to watch some of my friends' games. I got to get some food. And I think I took like a little nap. I was just like sitting on a chair, like just in the corner, like laying like this. And so I felt very well rested going into my next game, which at least there's that. I didn't have to play like a 4 hour long game in the morning and then like have to play a really long game at night. And so after this game, I knew that I needed to go for the win in my next game, which was later on in the day. It was only like 21 moves. We both had spent, I think, a cumulative like 50 minutes because the game was done in like an hour. And so definitely played too fast. I learned to not listen to my opponent when they're trying to convince me to take a draw. Just like tell them to be quiet or please don't talk to me. I also learned not to play as fast as my opponent. He told me after the game this was his first time playing against the Pirc in a tournament game, which I was like, great. Like, that makes me feel so good. Thanks for telling me that. I learned a lot of stuff from this game, and I'll take that into my next tournaments, to not take a draw super quick and to spend more time and to tell kids to stop playing with pieces when they're distracting you. I actually was sitting next to him in a future round, and the person he was playing against was like this older man, and he was like, stop playing with the pieces, that's so distracting. And he was like really mean about it actually, and I was just like, damn, I'm glad that wasn't me, but also like, sir, I get it because it is really annoying and distracting. But still, it was like, oh yikes, bro. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.